All right, good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to the Grafton Select Board meeting for September 29th, 2020. Open the meeting up at 6:01. Just for some preliminary members, I just need to go through some steps here for remote meeting. So as a preliminary matter, I, Peter Carlson, Chair of the Select Board, permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated to be on this agenda are present and can hear me. So when I call your name, please answer in the affirmative. Mr. Hoffman?
Often present.
Ms. Roy?
Roy here.
Mr. Prisby? Not on yet. And Mr. Fazio has indicated to me that she will not be able to make this meeting tonight, so she will be absent. For all applicable staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Mr. Carter Terenzini?
Present.
And Mr. Paul Canoyer?
Present.
Thank you. This open meeting of the Grafton Select Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order on March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend all public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed to encourage to participate remotely. The order, which you may find on the town's website at www.grafton-ma.gov, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded to that. The public can follow along with deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure in public participation unless such participation is required by law. This feature, public comment for this evening, will be disabled. For this meeting, the Select Board is convened via Zoom meeting by posting on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Please note that your meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and that you take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials for the meeting have been made available to the public, and I, the chair, have confirmed that all materials are present. Just some ground rules for this evening. Please, if you need access to the floor, please raise your hand and I will call your name and you can have the floor. Please make sure you mute yourself during the conversations to not pull in any background noise. In addition, make sure your first and last names are clearly marked out on your Zoom meeting. Other than that, that's all I have. So the first up here tonight, we have vote to sign warrant for October 19, 2020 meeting. Mr. Terenzini?
Mr. Chairman, this was, we noted to you, had been sent to council late last week for final review. We got that and have sent you out a revised copy with all of our changes. There weren't too many. It was mainly to conform to statute and a suggestion on one of them that we make it broader as opposed to how specific I had made it. There's also the related order relative, and I can't remember the article number now, but in relation to the article proposing a amendment of the town charter, you may recall from Brian Falk, there is a so-called order that has to be released, and we've provided you that as well here today.
Okay. Any questions or discussion on tonight? We're just voting to sign this warrant. Ms. Roy? And then Mr. Hoffman.
So are we allowed to ask questions about any of the articles? I see Mr. Canoyer's here, and that would be who my question was for, or are we just up or down voting right now?
This is just up or down voting on the language of the warrant tonight. If you have a question, it can be, addressed tonight, that's fine. But if there's something that requires some additional detail or preparation, we can definitely schedule some additional meetings in the near future to get answers to maybe some specific wording if you're if that's what you're referring to. So if you want to ask away, Ms. Roy, please go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Canori, I just had a question on Article 13 about the tree fund, because in the spring, I remember being told specifically that you guys were going to be fine without that $50,000. So I'm just a little confused what's changed.
So when we did the budget, obviously we started last fall into the winter before COVID. There was no leaves on the trees. We still had $87,000. And there was a warrant article from a few years ago, town meeting warrant article for tree removal, $200,000. There was still $87,000 left in that article. We were, when we were developing the budget, the town was looking for things to cut. We were hopeful that 87,000 would get us through the year as the trees leafed out in the spring. It's tough to tell which ones are dead and dying in the winter. As they began to leaf out, it was clear that there was a lot that weren't going to survive from the droughts and the gypsy moths of the past years. And then as the drought of this summer has really stressed the ones that were already stressed, and there's a significant amount of trees that are dying. And they're not small trees. They're all really large, 36, 48-inch oak trees that are just time-consuming and expensive to cut down. So that's the reason. The 87 will not get us through to next July with all the trees that we really need to remove.
Thank you. Mr. Austin?
Yeah, thanks. I'm okay with this particular article, but the one transferring the $1.5 million for roads, I think we should talk as a board about whether we want to continue just allocating the 1.5 to roads every year, or whether we want to be increasing that by 2.5%. So, and this also applies to the stabilization account for municipal capital. If we're thinking about a sustainable budget, I think we want to be, for those costs that we know are going to be increasing year after year, we can't just have a fixed amount that we are putting towards those programs. So I'd like for this board to think about for next year and the upcoming years, actually exercising our ability to increase those amounts by 2.5% to be able to keep up with inflation. Otherwise, we're going to run into the same problem that we ran into with capital in general, which is that, as a percentage of the budget, as the rest of the budget goes up 2.5% each year, we're going to be losing ground to that. So again, this probably isn't the year for that, but I want us to think about that in the future. Just again, financial picture.
Thank you, Mr. Altman. Any further discussions or questions on the warrant we're here to sign for tonight? There was one component that was changed. Mr. Terenzini, did you want me to call attention to that one that was sent out to us?
Please.
Hold on one second here. Okay. So this document right here, this was an order to propose a town charter amendment. Mr. Terenzini, do you want to just kind of give us some?
Yeah, you may recall that when we were discussing amending the town charter, we discussed the statutory process and the special legislation process. The statutory process all starts with this proposed order to be filed with the town clerk. And then there's a public hearing. We'll refresh everyone's memory on what those timelines were. They are contained in prior memos, but we'll get those back out Thursday or Friday and get that public hearing scheduled. And so this accompanies the warrant article acting upon the town charter vote. It is a requirement of statute that Mr. Falk touched upon when he spoke to you, I believe, 2 weeks ago.
All right. Any questions on this from the board? Okay. Stop sharing that. All right. If there isn't any further questions, could I get a motion, please?
I move the board vote to sign the October 19th, 2020 semi-annual town meeting warrant.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All right. Any discussion on the motion of signing the warrant? All right.
Mr.
Mr. Terenzini, yes.
Could I respectfully ask that the motion include and the order related to the proposed charter amendment?
Is that not already, the order of the articles are already outlined? It's just that one article is, am I,
If everyone's comfortable signing the order, because it's clear by this warrant that you're going to attempt to amend the charter. I just didn't know if you wanted that to be part of your motion as well.
could you repeat that last, your audio broke up?
So the need for the order, it's clearly included in the warrant. I didn't know if the board, for its record, wanted to have the motion reflect that it also authorized the signing of the order relative to the proposed charter amendment.
Okay.
I
So
will-
historically, we've never done that before. If this is the order in which articles are put in place, then. and
No,
then-
I'm speaking to the single order document that the statute refers to that has to be placed on file with the town clerk, Mr. Chairman, not the order of the articles.
I see. Can we take two separate motions? Let's get this signed and then I'll entertain another motion. Thank you. All right. Any further discussion on signing the warrant here tonight? All right. Hearing none. By roll call, please. Ms. Roy?
Roy, I.
Mr. Prisby?
Yeah.
Mr. Often?
Often aye.
Carlson, I declare the motion carried 4-0. Thank you. So if we could ask the board to entertain a supportive motion with regards to the order, I can put that back up on the screen.
I move the board vote to sign the charter amendment order pursuant to the fire chief.
Okay, I've got a motion made and seconded. Any discussion on this motion? All right, hearing none. All those by roll call, please. Ms. Roy?
Roy, I.
Mr. Prisby? Mr. Often?
Often aye.
Carlson, I. Thank you. Declare the motion carried 4-0. Okay, we're all set for there. And then next on our agenda is Mr. Canoyer's here to talk about execution of Adams Road easements. Paul, do you want to give us some background?
Yeah, so as everybody knows, this has been going on for a year and a half. Been trying to negotiate with Brian Kelly to move the drainage from the properties at 32, 34, and 36 Adams Road, a vacant lot that he has at 38 Adams Road. It's just taken a long time to get the necessary agreements between our council and his council. This is, as I said to the neighbors down there, hopefully the beginning of the end. They have signed, and if we can get them signed, we can get the equipment moved down there, the materials ordered, and hopefully get this pipe in before Halloween. And then work with the property owners at 32, 34, and 36 to remove the existing structure. Hopefully by the time we demobilize from the site. And our goal is to be out of there completely and hopefully a good solution for everybody.
All right, thank you. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Roy?
Is this the same work on Adams Road you were hoping to have done before school started? Now we're hoping before October. I'm just trying to, or if there's another Adams Road project.
No, so we paved Adams Road as part of the paving project. We wanted to get the pipe off the road before school started. So what we did is we ran 90 feet of pipe down the side of the road, got it onto the shoulder of the road, so we don't have to touch. So the road's now paved. So now we don't have to touch the road. We can just start off the road onto the property. So out of the right of way.
Any other questions, discussion? So this motion will go into the record as signing the drainage easements for 38 and 40 Adams Road and then the temporary one for 38 Adams Road. Okay, if there's no other discussion, could I entertain a motion, please?
I I move the board vote to sign the drainage easement for 38 and 40 Adams Road and to sign the 38 Adams Road temporary easement.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. All those by roll call, please. Ms. Roy?
Roy, I.
Mr. Frisbee?
Aye.
Mr. Often?
Often, aye.
Carlson, I declare the motion carried 4-0. Okay, that's it. Before we adjourn, these documents will be available if we could all get down there, by no later than tomorrow and all of us sign these. That would be fantastic, please, so they can be recorded. I want to thank everybody again for making it earlier tonight. At this point, I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second,
All those by roll call. Mr. Frisbee?
Yeah.
Mr. Often?
often, aye.
Ms. Roy?
Roy, I.
Peter Carlson, I. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you Thursday night. Have a good night.